Okay, great. Everybody have their mics on?
I don't think I got, I guess this is it.
Okay. Good evening and welcome to the City of York's Historical Architectural Review Board. We'll open with a roll call. Mr. Kunkel?
Present.
Mr. Skian?
Present.
Mr. Zumbrun, present. Mr. Schurmeyer?
Here.
Ms. McLean Gross is absent. Mr. Buffington is absent. Mr. Gifford?
Present.
Ms. Hensel is absent. Could we have a motion to consider the minutes of the previous meeting from November the 14th?
So moved. Seconded.
Moved and second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstaining? Motion's approved. I don't believe we have any unfinished business. The first case tonight is 234 West Clark Avenue. It's an application to replace warp deck boards on the front landing, side landing, and rear landing. Current landings are pressure-treated frame with composite PVC decking. Size of all landings to remain the same. Remove and replace decking with like for like material. Proposed to use gray AZEK or timber trek decking. Current decking is also gray in color. Wooden front door is rotting and falling apart. Proposed to repair, rebuild the door with the same materials, paint the same colors. Is there someone here to talk about that application tonight?
After all that reading.
After all that reading,
And after all that email they sent, I don't know if you want to vote on this or not. It's pretty much an in-kind replacement, and it's an alley building.
great.
I don't know that it's, what are they doing? Did they detail here what they're doing with the railing? I assume that's in-kind too, and it's not.
They didn't say anything about railing, but that's my supposition. Everything is
It's
like
nothing
for like.
special about it, and it's been rehabbed anyway. Maybe at some point in the past.
I'll make a motion to approve as submitted.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Moved and seconded to approve as submitted, which is essentially an application to repair and replace with like materials.
Now, we can do that if they're not here, right?
Yes.
Okay. Just verify that.
Is there any other comment or question on the motion? All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Motion is approved unanimously. I just need a moment to record. The next application is 39 North Duke Street. It's an application to replace 46 windows in the newer part of the building, which is in the back of the church. South-facing windows from East Clark Avenue are visible. East-facing windows are visible from Howard Street. Some of the north-facing windows are also visible from Howard. The applicant would like to install white vinyl HARB slimline windows with white metal trim coil, since there are presently white vinyl windows in this part of the building. Is there anyone here to talk about that application tonight?
Yep, that's me.
Okay, good. The floor is yours.
Okay. Yeah, so pretty much like I said, replace all 46 windows. And they currently have vinyl windows in there. So
Which was replaced without our approval.
that's
Yeah.
kind of what I figured was,
And they're probably, do you know how long they've been in there?
we looked for stickers, could not find any, but I would say probably from the 80s.
I doubt they're that new, that old. I would guarantee you they're probably like 20 years.
Okay.
I actually
the light
remember
get
the
out.
application.
He remembers it.
I was
Oh,
on
really?
board, yeah.
Yeah.
We had not approved it, and they did it illegally.
Oh,
And it's our position, just to cut to the chase, that anytime there are windows in the historic district that are visible from a public right-of-way, that they need to be replaced with appropriate materials, which can be wood or composite materials that reflect the original dimensions of the material that would have been there.
Right.
And you can see that when you take the shortcut, you end up doing it twice. So had they taken our advice the first time, you wouldn't be back here.
okay. So they actually came and tried to get vinyl approved.
Yeah.
Actually, they didn't get, they just put them in, didn't they?
They came and requested them, we denied
roll
the
it in.
application.
Oh, okay.
And they weren't cited for some reason.
So I would assume that, and if you're remembering it, I would assume that it's less than 20 years they've been in there, which is what we say all along about vinyl windows. Had they put even a composite in there, they wouldn't be replacing them.
Yeah.
Again,
There's a couple people from the church. Do you guys have any recollection of when they were replaced? Okay.
My brother is a caretaker, and he believes they were replaced in 1980. And none of us recall.
I don't believe vinyl windows existed in 1980.
Yeah.
It was rare, but yeah.
Yeah.
You'll see some stickers that have like 84,
I'm going to say
pretty rare.
it's probably around 1998, 96 to 98.
Which would be about right. You're getting
Yeah.
Yeah, pushing. Yeah.
slightly less than 30 years out of them.
Churches
Yeah. Yeah, I was the building official at the time, and I think it was right as I was leaving that the
Yeah, it would've been-
application came in, and then I was gone, and there was a transition. For some reason, it slipped through the cracks, but we try to explain that vinyl just doesn't hold up in our climate. They can show you, literally thousands of Windows systems in York that have failed that were vinyl. After sometimes only 10 or 15 years, you were lucky if you got 28 years out of them.
Now, you did submit this composite wood, which is something we.
Correct, yeah. So we kind of had a plan B.
Okay.
And a plan C. So we actually, the interstate composite window that was previously approved in other projects, they're a composite supplier. They're in the middle of switching composite suppliers. So we got the approval for the Anderson 100s, the composite windows. So if that's an acceptable product, then
Yeah, that's acceptable also. Anderson, the 100 is the all Fibrex, right? The A
That's
series
correct.
is Fibrex and wood, yeah, because you
Single hung.
can
Yep.
do the all Fibrex, which is cheaper. Yeah, I mean, they're going to last you longer. You won't be here 28 years from now wanting to replace them again.
Right.
Other than, other than a seal fails or something like that. And if you use like Anderson, and I'm assuming these guys, they're well-known. I mean, Anderson, I know for sure you'll be able to get the parts,
right.
if the
right.
seal fails or whatever on it.
Get the screens, get the balances, all that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They'll always have the parts.
So again, it just comes down to cost, and I'm always trying to, help my customers keep the cost down.
Right.
But I also want to follow the rules.
Well, and you're looking at upfront versus, every 20 to 30 years, you're looking at replacing the windows again.
Yeah.
I mean, that gets to be, hopefully you want to get more life out of them than that. And that's more than just, you're having more of an issue than just reglazing or something like that, which, glazing seals fail, weather stripping seals fail. Those are pretty easy to deal with.
Right.
On a case-by-case basis. But, the whole having to do all the windows again because they're failing, within less than 30 years, that's something you really don't want to have to do.
Okay.
Explain, please, a little bit more about the white metal trim coil.
Yeah,
You
so-
talk about wrapping the sills.
Yeah, so currently all the wood components on the exterior are wrapped with metal, white metal, trim coil. Some people call them capping. It's currently like that, and we would like to redo that same process, just to prevent rot on the exterior. And also, we could use a similar color metal that would, like Anderson has an exact color match metal to the window, which is one thing that's nice about Anderson. So like normally if you do like, let's say a white vinyl window, you just get whatever white metal, and it's two different colors, but Anderson actually has their specific shade of white. We could purchase that exact metal to match. Just helping with, otherwise they'd have to like hire a painter to come out every couple of years. It's a lot of wood.
Have you removed the current wrapping?
Have not.
And
I
look at
mean,
what's
didn't seem-
underneath of it.
What's underneath of it?
Yeah,
It's
because
just-
a lot of times, and I don't have it with me, but, Dennis can speak to this, I mean, because he used to go around and take photos of it. One of the reasons we discourage wrapping, especially on components like sills, is the water gets under the wrapping and it continues
rots
to
it out.
rot the sill underneath of it. And, Dennis had provided photos already that, where he just walks the alleys and the streets and he sees sills that have fallen off of buildings.
Right.
Because, and they were wrapped.
Right. These are actually, everything's in good shape. They're decent shape, I should say. But it was currently an old, I would imagine the original windows were wooden.
Right.
They pulled out the sashes, put a replacement window in the pocket, wrapped the outside frames, and we're planning on pulling off all that old metal, putting a new window in, the Anderson window inside, and then rewrapping everything. So, I mean, just trying to help the customer. It would all be the exact same color match, and we can get the exact same caulk from Anderson as well. So that way everything is, consistent. So that way they don't have to hire a painter every couple of years.
Well, typically, we do not allow wrapping
Have you,
because of some of the issues that Mark has.
have you looked at if the wrapping comes off and you're putting new Anderson units inside the old frames? Have you looked at just, for example, I'm talking about the head jam sill, just trimming it out with, just as easy with composite material? Again, like AZIC or, there's dozens of them out in the market.
So you're saying just like leave the existing frame against the brick,
Right.
and then pull off the stops and put like a new stop in essentially and just let it go and then,
Well, usually what they would do is they would leave the frame, pull the stops, put the new sash in there, and then if there was any space or whatever around it, you'd trim that out with a composite material like an AZIC or something.
yeah, we
like
can
that.
certainly do that.
Yeah.
But that
And
would
that doesn't
still-
require a lot of maintenance. Now,
No.
again, that doesn't address the sill issue you're
Right.
talking about. Right.
It would just leave like kind of an eyesore for, an additional part of the project kind of left over.
Well, you'd have to, with the sill,
And honestly, I don't know. Yeah. I'd have to look a little bit closer at all the sills, but I assume that they can be painted.
Right.
Normally when I see metal, I assume that it's covering wood.
and it depends on the condition, and if those sills are rotted underneath the metal, or water has gotten under there, now if they're old enough and they have lead paint on them, they might be fine. But if, depending what kind of wood they were, but, a lot of cases, water gets underneath of it and, penetrates them, and that's the problem with the wrapping, the water will still get underneath of it. So, which is why one of the main reasons we generally discourage it, don't allow it.
I guess
They
one
are wrapped now, so in some ways that's in kind, but again, like Craig pointed out, all that was done without any kind of guidance or approval almost 30 years ago,
yeah.
back when he was building code official. Yeah.
I'd be really curious what you find when you take that sill wrapping off.
Yeah. I mean, we pulled a bunch off today, and I mean, you just never know. You never know. Usually they're in decent enough shape that you can at least patch it in and then make it look decent enough so you can paint it. But it would just be nice if it could be maintenance free.
Right. And that's agreeable. If they're not repairable, the other thing is they can be replaced with, a piece of composite.
Yeah. Like the sills parts and.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's been a case that we've heard dozens of times in the last few years. And it seems to be a very acceptable way of
Are you referring to like AZIC board or something like that, like
AZIC.
vinyl board, something? And then that stuff can all be painted as well, so.
Right.
And you shouldn't be painting it every 2 or 3 years.
I don't know, to be honest, I'm not a painter.
Yeah.
I just assume that stuff
I've
requires
been
a
in my
lot.
house 20 years, and it's been painted twice.
Okay,
And
that's not too bad, I guess, but,
Well, 30 years you're replacing all the windows and redoing it again, so it's like, yeah.
yeah.
So, anyway, I think, I'm fine with an Interstate or an Anderson 100 Series composite window. I just, the board creates precedence if we allow the wrapping, especially because it was done without any kind of approval years ago. I would just assume that, I assume that your original frame and everything is just a plain, there's no detail, no bead or anything on it, right?
Right.
It's a plain, one-by material,
Yep,
is the facing. So again, that can be, just capped or covered with, with a composite.
okay. Could we, so basically, we leave a little bit of space between the new window and the existing window's frame?
Right.
Could, like, even that little gap,
Right.
like, we can't cap that either?
Yeah, you can, yes.
We can,
Oh,
we
yeah.
can, we can do
Yeah.
that, okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
you can take a piece that would,
We could bend
fill
it.
the gap between
Right.
that new window and the brick.
Okay.
Especially if you're dealing with a building that has like a bullnose frame or something like that, that's a detail in itself, that's one thing.
Mm-hmm.
But a building like you have, that's just a plain, one by old brick mold or something like that, or just a plain one by trim, you can replace that one by trim to fit
right,
between
okay.
your new and your old,
With ASIC.
with ASIC or Versatex or.
I'm
There's a
confused by
Boral,
this
there's a bunch of them
exchange.
out there.
I'm a little confused by this exchange, because you asked if you could wrap that.
Well, basically cover the gap between the window and the current window frame, the new window and the current window frame.
There's gonna be a little,
With metal?
Yes.
no,
Or a,
the ASIC,
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
gonna be a little bit of a gap that's
Okay.
like an eighth of an inch or a quarter of an inch or something like that.
we usually
Depends-
leave a quarter, that way we can insulate and adjust
Yeah, and
it.
it depends if things are out of square. So, and I don't think that's gonna matter visually, but then your new trim would go from that to the brick mold.
Okay.
And it would just cover the existing frame.
Yep,
Yeah.
With an ASIC, not with
Or that to the
metal.
brick,
Right,
the brick masonry, I should say, not brick mold, but yeah. Yeah. So,
Make a motion stipulating that.
what did we agree to? I will
composite windows, no metal, it sounds like.
make a motion that we allow replacement of the existing vinyl windows, which were replaced without approval approximately 28 years ago, with new composite windows, 1/1, to match the existing. The composite windows will be Anderson 100 Series, Interstate composite wood or similar. That any head jamb sill work be trimmed with a composite material, ASIC or similar, that will span from the existing the new window frame to the existing edge of the masonry opening. And that
No
sill.
metal coil wrapping.
Yeah, and that sills be repaired either in kind or replaced with composite material,
Okay,
no metal wrapping.
Is that a motion?
Yeah, that's the motion.
I'll second it.
Did that sound like right, what we, okay.
sounds good, yep.
And you won't be back here in, shouldn't be back here in 28 years.
I'm sure that's their goal, so.
I don't think many of us will be here in 28 years.
No, I won't be here in 28 years either, so.
So we have a motion and a second. Is there any question on the motion, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion is to approve an amended application using 1/1 composite windows with composite material for trims. Sills will be replaced if damaged with composite. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Motion approved unanimously.
Great.
Thank you very much. Good luck with your project.
Thank you.
Next application is 49 and 61 East Philadelphia Street. The applicant proposes to install 11 commercial kitchen hood system with fire system using inline fans, so the exterior will look clean and minimal impact, and will exit onto Duke Street with a new sign. Is there anyone here to discuss that application? Okay. You want to just walk us through what you have?
It's going to be similar to, I said, so is it going to be similar to this?
Yes, similar to
But
this.
kind of, is it replacing that?
This is the same thing, this picture you got it right there, is the picture in 24 and 28 North Jolly Street. We want to put it the same thing in Duke Street.
Okay.
The same thing you got it right there.
Yeah, this fan.
So on this picture, which I assume is the Duke Street side of your building,
Exactly, this is outside, yes, this is the one we're doing.
does that go away, or is?
No, this is the one this just almost 75% already done. The city is stopping the job to us when they see we put this fund right there because they want to be approved for you.
Oh, okay.
Because it's in Duke Street. But this fund you got over there, and one of them, we have to put the circular one in the other side. But this is the one of them be outside, yes.
Okay. I think I'm following it, so this is just like the base of,
This is the fade to Duke Street, yes.
yeah, but there's something else that goes over top of this.
No. That stay the same thing. Like, if you found the other picture I showed you, I send you one picture. Let me see right here. Okay, so you see that picture?
We have two pictures, I have two pictures.
Yeah, we have
This
that
one and this one.
That picture right here, and this picture right here, you got the circular one
Right.
on one side, and you have the other one you got here. You see this one?
Yeah.
It's that one right there, and this one, because one being in and one
Okay.
coming out.
Okay. So this stays,
That stay, and we put it one
and
of this.
this goes like in here.
No, that go, it's a corner, and it's in the bottom of the door.
Oh, it's down here.
Exactly, but be like it right there.
Oh,
It's
okay.
like a more down, this is close to the Philadelphia, the other one down, like it go down to the, like, the Phillies right here.
Okay,
We
yep.
go down more.
Okay. Okay, I think I got it.
And just so I'm clear, guys, there's nothing going on the Philly Street side? You're not changing any of this?
No, and
Okay.
that one, only we do in that sign. We got it here.
Your restaurant sign here?
Yeah.
And that's going to be out in front of Duke Street, or out in front of Philadelphia, yes, sir. Okay,
That sign we put it, and this thing, the hand we got it right now.
gotcha.
And so it's
We're going to hang that sign.
this sign on that board hung from the existing,
That side go and the front door. And we got another side go and close to the picture he talking about.
So where is this going to go? Is it going close to this door? So this is going to go closer to this door?
Exactly, this is the door go inside to the building.
Right.
That go right there.
This is going where?
No, this go and top of that door.
on top of the,
Of the door, on the front?
No, in the front, no. This is Philadelphia, this is Duke. Yeah.
This is Duke.
This is Duke. You see, right here, you got this inside right now.
Right.
The one you showed.
Right.
And top of
That's above that window. This is
and-
here, yes.
Exactly. You see that door when you go inside to the store?
Right.
And top of that door, in between the door and the window, right there, and that little
Okay.
thing.
So
that-
this is going here.
Exactly, that goes right
Okay,
there.
okay. Everybody get that?
Yeah.
You go above the side
Right.
door.
And this bracket,
there.
is that where the sign
The sign, that bracket right
hang
there.
from the bracket?
Yeah, we want to put that sign
That
from
sign?
the bracket.
Right,
And
but you
front
said
to
two.
here,
Okay.
we wanna
The other
put-
one here.
We want to put another sign the same way in Duke Street, like 36 by 36.
And will it mount with a bracket?
Yeah, that be mounting like a wood, yeah.
So they're both going to hang from the front of the building? They're not going to be
One
stuck
will
on the
be hanging-
glass?
This one be hanging, the other one be stuck to the building.
Okay, okay, gotcha. So on the Duke
Both
Street
signs are the
side.
same.
Yeah,
Both sides the same name, the same everything. If I can, for the people see, they will use it there.
Right.
Okay.
This wall, a fountain, when they originally did that front of the building, wasn't there like a wall fountain there?
yeah, they turned off the fountain a couple of years back. I don't know why
Yeah,
that.
there's planters there in the,
Yeah,
yeah, kitchen hood. Yeah, okay.
This isn't the same building, is it?
No, this is,
that's the sandwich shop on George Street.
yeah, this is
across
the
from
old, this is
courthouse.
the,
Condos by the Egyptian place is on the other side. of the
yeah,
alley,
this
right.
is the old, was it the Gregory's Menswear building? Yeah. And there have been various restaurants and all in there, and then that front was rebuilt, yeah. Yeah.
¿Qué tipo de comida?
Hispanic food, Mexican grill, Latina, Dominican food. Nobody had it over here. That been loaded for everybody, I'm telling you that.
Awesome. Corner of the market.
Yeah. Does anyone have any other questions or concerns?
It's on the, though it's on Duke Street, it's on, above a side door. It's on it's not on the major facade of the building. There's certainly other utility items on that wall of that building, for example, the electrical cabinet and everything else, and all the conduit and everything else. So I don't see how this is any, it disrupts the building in any way other than anything else that's been there. I don't know how the rest of the board feels about it, but.
Is the kitchen going to be on the other side of the wall, close
No, the
to
kitchen
that
is-
wall?
The kitchen is, yeah. The kitchen is inside and the other side to the wall and bring everything inside, the fan come inside,
ducting.
like the kitchen right there. And this is the wall we want to put in the fan, everything come out right here, inside the building, and only coming outside, that two pieces we're talking about.
Yeah.
The two fan coming out, there's one coming in, another one coming out.
Right.
But everything is inside.
Okay.
Well, the fact of the matter is they can't do anything if they don't get the vent.
Right, yeah, it's, yeah.
I mean,
And there's really no other place to put it.
There is not.
Right.
What's above your restaurant?
About to the restaurant, it's an apartment building.
Yeah, it's a couple of apartments, right?
It's apartment, like a people in the stuff, it's an apartment building, you can say that. People live over there.
No way to duct it up to the roof.
No, you couldn't.
that was the only other thought I had, but it really wouldn't matter because it would be more duct.
Correct.
It'd be more duct.
And you're
more
limited on,
space,
yeah, you're limited on
And
run and everything else.
that would be very
yeah.
expensive.
Yeah,
I am comfortable with the application.
okay.
I suppose I am too.
Anyone want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion, we approve it as submitted.
And I think I will add, just make the notations. It's on the side of the building. That side of the building already has significant
Yep.
utility infrastructure mounted to the wall. And there is precedence in the district for these on the sides of buildings where required for restaurants.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. Any other Comments? All in favor of the motion to approve as submitted, say aye. Aye. Motion's approved. Thank you. Good luck with your
you.
project.
God bless you. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
So this evening, we have a discussion with Frank Grumbine from Central Pennsylvania Community Preservation Services. He's a preservation coordinator, Frank. And the floor is yours. And sir, did you have,
I was supposed to hear about 369, 371 East Market.
Jim put it on the agenda.
yeah, we don't have anything for your application. When was it submitted?
Well, the homeowner, I guess the meeting was supposed to be from the last meeting, and whoever he talked to said that it was gonna be today. If anybody showed up to that one.
There was one case tabled.
Let's see if I can, do I have it in the file?
Yeah.
Yeah, 369, 371 East Market Street.
Was that from the 14th? No.
Fascia and soffit board, scrape repair, paint original design and color. Is that all it is? Scraping, painting, and replacing fascia board?
There's some rotted wood in the crown moldings, obviously.
Which address is it? Which address is it?
371 East Market.
I plan on using, like you were talking about composite. I don't like using the wood in the moldings.
Yeah, okay.
Composite now. That way you don't have to worry about rotting.
Right. So you're not going to be really altering anything. It's a repair, and you're using wood or composite material, and everything else is going to, the appearance of the building is going to be the same when you're finished, except improved.
So the dental moldings, everything else stays. You're going to replace them,
Unless there's something rotten.
in which case you're going to replace them with like ASIC or something that matches. Okay. Okay. So I think it's basically an in-kind replacement. Yeah, there's one of the photos of it that they had sent.
And you'll be up on a lift.
Yes.
I mean, I think that's, because it's an in-kind replacement, I think we can approve that.
Yeah.
They'll just have to be sure they do the paperwork for it, because we really don't have it on the agenda.
Right. Yeah, I think we can take a motion and take a vote. The unfortunate thing is I don't have the paperwork that goes to council for it.
Okay.
So,
Probably wouldn't, I mean, we're obviously this time of year with painting.
yeah, you're not going to paint
Yeah,
it
you're
next
not going
week
to be,
anyway.
so if it's delayed.
Right. Yep. But I think we can get, if we take the action tonight, we can get a signature on a document for council, so,
Yeah.
okay?
All right.
I will move that we approve the application as submitted with repair and repainting of the existing cornice with new or composite materials to match existing as required, all detailed to remain and to be replicated.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Any other discussion? Hearing none, call for the motion to be voted on. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Motion approved unanimously. Thanks for sticking around. Yeah. Okay. So Frank, the floor is yours.
Thank you.
Just move up here and make this informal.
I would
You
make
can
it,
go wherever you like.
you can be as comfortable as you care to be.
Okay, Frank did join me at the DECD monthly meeting, which ended up just being the holiday party. It wasn't very productive, but he did learn who Nancy was, and he got to speak with Glenn and me, so at least he got to meet a couple people briefly. We're hoping for a more productive meeting this evening. Our goal is to somehow, get what we need in resources to get our HARB back on a more professionally facilitated, footing so that we can, well, I'll let Frank take it from here, he's the expert.
Sure, yeah, first, thank you for volunteering and serving on the HARB. I know it's a pain in the ass. I know it can be fun, but, you deal with a lot of stuff that you inherit that you shouldn't be dealing with. So I commend you for your service to the public and to the city. My name is Frank Rombine. I'm the Central Region Community Preservation Coordinator for the State Historic Preservation Office, which is a bureau within the Pennsylvania Historical Museum Commission. I live in northern York County, so I'm familiar with York. I'm here to help. There are clearly some issues with staffing, helping you guys. For example, the gentleman that was just here wasn't on the agenda, and it was tabled from last month or last meeting, which,
And then he was a no-show from, the meeting before last was canceled, and then
okay.
he just showed, there. Mark just showed there was a no-show. He was a no-show at the one before that.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, I mean, that should have just been administratively approved anyway, you shouldn't have.
yeah. Was Michelle Lefebvre one of your predecessors?
Correct.
Okay, so you're kind
About
of,
20 years ago.
which that goes back, yeah, and longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, so sort of and he worked extensively with this board to modify our ordinances, which never got passed.
Yeah, I know.
That's over 20 years ago. Because of council changeovers at the time, they got tabled, and then they,
Priorities change, we have policy, politics,
And we used to, for a long time, York, the consultant was always through Historic York.
Yep.
They always got the contract for that. Then that organization began to fall apart about 15 years ago. Yeah, it was when you were around the time, you were, yeah. And then they gave the contract to JMT, who tried to administrate it out of Philadelphia. And JMT was not able to really effectively administrate it out of Philadelphia, just showing up one day a week, or one day every 2 weeks. Wasn't able really to consult with, with applicants and to work a lot of things out before they even got to us. Yeah. And so the real issue is now, and it's too bad Buffington's not here because he knows of the financing issues, but we have not had a consultant for 4 years, 3 years, 4 years, longer?
At least
5 years, we no longer get reviews. We no longer poor, Nancy, when she's here, tries to do 2 jobs at once. And, we're past all this information that's not,
It's not,
It's-
full application.
no.
You get half-assed information.
Half-assed information, there's nobody to work with the applicants. We're emailing back to her.
Yeah.
Constantly our opinions, whether it should come before the board, whether she could do it as a staff review, whether it's completely disorganized, completely unmanaged. It's awful.
It's not managed.
It's not managed, yes,
She just doesn't
yes,
do it.
yes. Well, she can't, it's not,
Well, she can, she just doesn't.
yeah.
I mean, she's
Nor
supposed
does,
to be the city planner.
nor does she have the expertise that we really require.
And
do
so
that.
why is she in the position that she's in? That's the.
Last man standing.
Well, she's only in the position she's in to help the HARB board because we don't have a consultant. Normally, the consultant, would be
But she's the
working,
city planner.
yeah, but she doesn't,
Planners do.
yeah, but she doesn't have the preservation background to do the consulting work for,
Never had city staff facilitating HARB. As long as I, was involved in it.
right.
We had that expertise at outside consultant, someone who would visit the site, someone who would work out everything.
Right.
Meet with the
James was
Right.
taking his Google photos.
Like, to give you an idea, when I was 30 years ago. So we're talking about 30 years ago. It's like 1996. I worked in Lancaster at the time. The firm I worked for, it was my last year there, we got the contract to do, it was either us or Levengood's office or Hamill's office, and we did the Lancaster HARB consultation. We did for a year, for that firm, I did the consultant's job. And so did all the analysis, visited the sites, dealt with people that yelled at you, and we worked extensively with the city planner. There was one gentleman's name, I can picture his face, I can't remember his name. He was like a junior planner under Paula Jackson or Paula Arnold, I can't.
That's before my time.
Yeah, and was 30 years ago in Lancaster. And I had moved back to York, and Historic York was always doing that, and we always worked with them. But they did the same thing. They worked with the city planners and were kind of the go-between, but they did all the analysis. They did everything that, by the book, that the HARB consultant's supposed to do. There's nobody in York for the last 5-ish years doing that consulting role. And in the 5 years previous to that, it was done by JMT out of Philadelphia, who really couldn't do justice. And when the contract came up for renewal, I know what happened. They said, it's not enough money. We can't do it, and we can't effectively do it. They didn't even apply to get the contract again. Yeah.
Now, my little bit of hope here was when I started talking with you about the issues, Steve mentioned that Nona was looking to bring someone on part-time, but rather than, once again, find somebody with a pulse and DECD without the skill, I'd rather see if we could somehow get some of that CLG money back that used to go towards
Right.
and hire a retired architectural historian, and Blandon knew somebody. I forget his name.
Yeah, there's.
Yes, you need an architectural historian. You need somebody who
Someone with
knows.
expertise.
Right.
I know Nona believes in promoting from within, and we'll train them. But you can't just throw somebody into this position and train them. They have to have the knowledge and the skill set. So if the city's looking towards putting some money towards a part-time, that's what this job would be. It'd be great if we could get some CLG support under technical,
Yeah.
That's what we need.
That's where my head's at.
Yeah, so the city of York, for those who know and don't know, is the certified local government, which is a multi-municipal or multi-governmental agreement between the National Park Service, the federal government, my office, the Commonwealth, and municipalities to work collectively to make your program function the best that it can be. So obviously we have money to be able to do that. And then the design assistance is a 25% match. And then municipalities that are CLG can hire a circuit rider, but they would have to there needs to be 2 municipalities that sign on to that to make it worth their time. So the same thing with JMT doesn't happen again. So it's worth
Right.
It's worth their time to do it. And it's worth our money to pay them to do it.
Okay.
So we have money available to be able for the city to hire. And that was a lot of our money from what I understand.
And JMT got some of this, that's how it was funded through CLG, right?
Correct.
Yeah. And Historic York, for years before that, their consultant was somebody to hire, was a staff person, then they got the CLG money, yeah.
And that was the golden age of preservation in York.
Yeah.
And Historic York had Mindy and had Karen
Yes.
and had Brian Van Sweden.
Yes.
They were,
Yeah.
the tax credit projects were trucking through the city.
Yeah.
There was so much going on anyway. So long story short is, there's money available, we can help, I can help, from a technical assistance perspective, but also through the CLG program, more so through the technical assistance program, or technical assistance.
So my question is this: why are you talking to us?
Because you are right now.
'Cause you guys need
a
help.
specialist. You- this
We
board
understand
is-
that, but
Oh,
we don't
yeah.
have a budget. We don't.
I sit in
Yeah.
these meetings and
Yeah,
you were
but
all
you're the only
invested.
folks that are listening to me, right? The
Right.
city government isn't listening to me, the planning office isn't listening to me, or whatever's left of it. So you are the last kind of straw that is holding this together.
And I don't want to push for something that I don't have the blessing of this board.
Oh, yeah.
We're your citizen volunteers, but I know each of you has been really committed to this for a long
Yeah.
time. You're invested,
Yeah.
I want to make sure, when I'm talking to Frank about the needs, we're all on the same page. As I continue discussions with Nona about, okay, I can bring you some dollars, I will help do the paperwork if necessary.
Right.
Let's make this happen.
Oh, no, we need that money back so we can have a consultant.
Or a architectural historian hired by
Or
the
just
city.
somebody that,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
can process, take these applications, go to the buildings, have meetings with
Because where do we find
the
a consultant?
residents. Yeah.
Well, and it's sort of like, again, we had a consultant, 50% of the cases might have been done staff reviews, and they give us a list of what they did as a staff review. That kind of thing. I mean, there's stuff that doesn't ever, and we should not be the ones that are commenting whether we think it should be, the board members were never asked whether they think it should be a staff review, whether or not. I mean, all that was handled by the consultant. And then we got reviews and we got backup as to what had happened before with the building, what the historical issues were with the building.
Yeah, why the building's important, what the architectural features are, what is changing.
Whether what they're doing is appropriate, and then at the end of it would be a recommendation.
Yeah,
Is
there's no staff review.
correct. We get no reviews, we
There's
get,
no listing of interior, department standards,
No, yeah, I
and
mean,
there's nothing.
right,
there's no meat to the bone, there's no defensibility about what's happening.
Which is why, as
Correct.
a council, we lost 4 buildings on George Street. It didn't
And
have
that's
a
exactly why,
chance.
yeah.
right. Right, because there is nobody giving the historical record.
Yep.
And then the other thing is to get out of wherever they're left with Historic York. They had all of the files, all of the records, all of the, and, somebody there sees it as their own, I don't know who, but sees it as their own private collection. And, I'm sure they're sitting in file somewhere if they even survive. But they had,
They're at the Strickler house.
they're at the Strickler House. They had decades of records of all of these buildings in the district. All of it was assembled by Mindy and her team. And that's what the consultant, up until when the contract went to JMT, my understanding was JMT did not have access to any of that historical data. Because Historic York was like, no, this is ours.
Gatekeeping is.
Yeah. And it's an organization that really doesn't exist anymore, but,
I don't know that we need to be any longer on video or on audio.